Masechet Zevahim Daf down at Amud Aleph, last line. Amar Mor, we said earlier, Midi Bolish Hoshal Mishoshal Makom Aher. We said if the pomegranates got mixed, but at one point, if one pomegranate from the first group of 10,000 went into another group of three, and then from that group of three, one fell into another group, Mutar, it's Mutar. The Gemara doesn't understand. Ma'ishna Amud Bet Shlosha. Why do they make the middle case, the middle group rather? Why do they have to make it three? The Ikaruba, because what? One out of three majority? Shnai Mami Ikaruba. One out of two also could have been. Gemara says, My Shlosha Tani Tateh who means no. Three means two mutar ones and one asur one. That's what it means. Three total. Even though there's an answer, Tabla Kililazer, he also could be an answer. That what? In general, in Masechet Abduzarah, he holds that in cases of being mixed with different items, they're machmir. Rabbi Elazar there says, however, that double doubt is mutar. Okay. Mar Shakish, Havisha Turma, another case, a barrel of Turma wine. Shintarava b'mei became mixed with 100 good wine barrels. Benafa achad mehem le'melech, and one of them fell into the Dead Sea. Hutru kuluhu kulan. They all become mutar because we assume that Amrin and Hachtan nafal, the Yisrael nafal, the one we say that the Asur one fell in. V'yisr ch'tara Rachman, v'yisr ch'tara Shakish. Why do we need two similar halachot of the same concept that we assume that the bad one is out? We need Nachman's case and Shakish's case. We did Nachman, if you only mention the case of Nachman. Havamina, Hanimina Rachim, because maybe it only applies to Avodah Zarah stuff, the Inam Matrim, because that can never be mutar. Avaturma, but in the case of the Turma case, the Yeshna Matrim, which can be made mutar via taking of Turma, or given to a Kohen, lo. Vidun Shakish, I only mentioned the case of Shakish, Havamina Haviti, that applies to the barrel of Tirumad, I mean, Karad filter because when you're missing it, it's noticeable. But the in the case of a ring that got lost, the Lomin Karad filter, look, that you're not noticeable, it would not apply. It's really for both cases apply. Maraba, lo Tir Shakish Ela Havich, the Min Karad filter only applies when he makes a cask when he notices the loss. Avatina, but a lost fig, Tirumad does not make it mutar. Yes, it says, I feel Tina, even a fig, the same way the way that fell into the group made him all become asur, so to it leaving also makes the group mutar. Amar Belazar, Havicha Tiruma Shinafla Me'at Haviyot of a cask of Tiruma fell to 100 good casks of wine. But yeah, you could open one of them. The Notel Hemena Kedeti Me'al Yeshutei, you could take out a percentage of the mixed Tiruma and then drink the rest. So a minimum amount would be 1 out of 100%, a little bit under 1%, as she says. And that is the amount that you're removing as Tiruma. كثير التيمي في كم هذا معترف في متهم سرين سنة هذا هذا أنا خلنا نسأل جماعة بشرك حزينة أخا. What are you saying over here? Why would we try to open one of them? هذا إما نفتحها حنا say no. You can't open it, but if it was opened, no تهم أنا كده دموع بش then you could do it. Okay, ما ربي أشياء حبيشة الماء تعرف ما يعرف حميش من الحياة of a barrel of Tirma wine became mixed with 150 barrels of good wine. بنفتحوا ما أهان 100 of them were open by accident. No تهم أنا كده دموع بش you could take out the amount of Tirma and drink it. وشعر سورينا شيء تحمل the rest of the 50 barrels to open it. Lo Amrina and you stood up Bilbao, we don't say that the majority is already opened. Next, case our Mishnah said, Isur animals are pasur, and they make other, if it's mixed with a kosher korban animal, it makes it pasur. For example, harovea b'neva, animal that was sodomized, or was sodomized person. All these cases, they have to let them get a blue moon and then they get redeemed. Bishlam akulul makes sense for all the other cases because there's no sign. Right? Animal got sodomized or sodomized a person, you can't tell. You get it if you obviously know there's terefa. Let's if it's then just remove it. If you don't know if it's terefa, how you know that it got mixed? Because I'm the very night. We're talking about going the Arab the kuvat hakos b'drusat hazev. The animal got pierced by a thorn, and it got mixed with an animal that got attacked by a wolf. Meaning they have two animals with similar type of injuries. One of them was a superficial wound, and one of them was a fatal wound. And yeah, you can't tell which one's which. So you know that definitely in there, but you just can't tell which one it is. Rosh Hashanah says, Going to Arab bin Fulad to a case where the kosher korban became mixed with an animal that fell from a roof. Also, you can't tell that it's going to die. In the food that I'm okay, but we have a halacha that we know according to Chachamim that an animal that's terefa can't walk. The Gemara says, "Kasavar amda b'tziricha me'at le'et." No, he says no. If it could stand within the first 24 hours, it could be slaughtered. Halacha tziricha b'dika. If it walked, you just have to check inside, so it still could be a terefa, but you're able to slaughter it. Remember, he says, "Kiyon de'arev la terefa." No, it's not a case where the korban became mixed with the child of a terefa. Rabbi Eliezer, he's according to Rabbi Eliezer, that Amar v'la terefa lo yikra v'gam. It's according to him who says that you can't bring the child of a terefa as a korban. Now the Gemara says, why don't they agree with each other? Kulu krevenai lam. They don't select the Ben de Kuvat Hakot as a media because you could tell the difference in injury by a thorn or a wolf. Hi Mashiach, hi Agil. The attack by a wolf is a scratch, and the wound by a thorn is round. Therefore, you could tell. Kish Lakish Lamar, they don't know like Kish Lakish because I'm not because they hold if an animal fell from a roof and stood. It doesn't. You don't have to wait 24 hours before slaughtering it. If it did walk, you don't have to check inside. Okay. Kirebi Rabbi Lamed, they don't like Rabbi Meir. Kirebi Lezer Lagmui, because they don't want to establish the Mishnah like according to Lezer that the child of a terefa can't be offered. We don't want to limit the Mishnah to that small opinion of Rabbi Lezer. Next case on Mishnah. Kodashim or Kodashim min bimino. If the korban became mixed with other types of the same type of korban, they can be offered for whoever the owner is. The owner says, "V'habai smicha." How can you offer it for the owners? You need the owner to do smicha for his animal, and you don't know which one's which. The Gemara says, Amar said, the korban nashim is not a case of women who are bringing korbanot, and they don't do smicha. Gemara says, the korban nashim no, but okay, but what about men? If it's if a man korban, you can't bring it. By as a question, Korban Yachid Shnedarev, the Korban Yachid. If a private Korban became mixed with another private Korban, the Korban Tzibor Shnedarev become Tzibor, and a community Korban got mixed with another community Korban. The Korban Yachid, the Korban Tzibor Shnedarev, or if private or community Korban got mixed. The Kohen should make 4 applications of blood for each Korban. If he did 1 application from each one, it's mutar. He did all 4 from one is mutar. But then remember that apply when they got animals got mixed when they were alive. But if they got mixed after they were slaughtered, you put 4 applications from all of them. You don't have to do more. If he did 1 from all, it's good. Rabbi Member says, we have to check how we're applying it. If there's enough blood for each and every single korban to do the application, it's kasher. If it's not enough blood for all the korbanot, it's pasul. Now, katana yahid tzibor, we mentioned saying that the case of mixing of the animals, you have a private korban is similar or compared at least to the community tzibor, and therefore, mat tzibor gavra, just like the tzibor is for men, af yahid gavra, even the private also for men, and therefore we see even in the case of private korbanot by men cannot be performed. Sorry, are brought even though smicha cannot be done because you don't know whose animals it is. The Gemara says, do you really think that's how you explain the Mishnah? The Braita? The time the Braita says, I'm not going to reply, makes the world alive. I'm not going to know, but they're slaughtered or they didn't know. And according to what you just said, there's no difference if that's alive or dead. So, I really have to say, when do we say? The slaughter cannot became mixed in a way similar to live, which means what? That the bloods are mixed into are separate, are in cups, and you don't know whose cups is what. But if the bloods are mixed, the blood can be thrown by one kohen for all 4 in one shot. He did 1 application for all, also Yotzeh. So according to this way of explanation, the Brett is not saying live animals. There's no case of simicha, no question against Rabbi Yosef.